a lot of things to do, so all good.
Well, I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me, my friend.
It's good. It's fun to do this stuff.
I wanted to ask you about the recording process for you. How long did it take to put the material together for this album?
Good question. I think we started for like 2-3.5 years ago, at least, to write the music. The recording, I would say, maybe 2 years something. But as we spread it around a little bit, we did other things during that time. We also recorded a EP just for Spotify with old material from the 80s that we wanted to release in a newer format. And we also released, I don't know if you've seen this package with cassettes.
Excellent. That's excellent.
So we did other things as well, of course. And then, of course, we have the pandemic that stopped a few things. So
I wanted to ask you about the song Metal Hearts. It's a killer track. It's one I enjoy top to bottom. I find myself listening to it over and over. How did that one come to you?
Oh, it's actually Tosh that wrote that song. He usually has a special thing. I don't know if this song was that type, but he kind of waking up in the night or early morning, and he have something in his head, and he just running to the studio and record it. And this could actually be one of the songs, actually, because I think he mentioned that earlier. So when he do that, actually, the main part of the song is recorded in just a few hours. Then he started tweak stuff, of course, and yeah. So it's.
And Revenge is another one of my favorite tracks on the album. I wanted to ask if you could speak on that as well.
Oh yeah, that's something I wrote from the beginning. I like to sit with in my studio where I'm sitting now, and just have, as you can see, I have guitars and stuff. So I often just can grab a guitar during my work, because this is also my working place. I'm working from here as well. So I can grab a guitar, have a cup of coffee, and try stuff, and got feelings during the day. And suddenly I got this kind of slightly weird off-key thing, which that song has, and I directly felt the feeling like not Arabic scales, but something off tune or so on. So that's why I got the inspiration of something down there that are slightly Arabic. That's why it's called Revenge, and the text is based on when the Viking might have come to Giza and around the pyramids and stuff. So that's a kind of a background story. Often when we doing songs, we give him the vocalist an idea what the song could handle, so he have an idea what to write the lyrics for. So I just gave him some ideas, and then he got it from there.
And one of the strongest suits on the album for me is the way it's presented. The songs are very powerful, and the drive is very hard. How hard was it to put that sound together in the studio?
Yeah, this is still Torsha doing all of this. He trying to do some kind of old school, but in a newer way, and he want to have it more powerful or more epic, or what you can call it. And we started that already on the previous album, but we wanted to take it one step further. So we're trying to have. I mean, I think the songs are kind of old school style of music, but we do it with a more modern and modern sound, so to say. And that's probably why it took some time, because that's nothing you do overnight. You need to sit there and tweak the stuff, and he really listened to the different frequencies so they can play to it together in a good way, so you get that epic sound, so to say.
I wanted to ask you if you could speak on the album artwork and the artist that was involved in it.
Sorry, once again.
I want to ask if you could speak on the album artwork and the artist that was involved.
Regarding the artwork, if the band was involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, yeah, I had an idea, and as you can see on all of our albums, we have some kind of Neptune guy on the front. And I playing a lot. I'm also a photographer. So the previous album, that's actually photography, and we gave it to a guy that are doing a lot of albums. So he tweaked it a lot in Photoshop. This time I did much more by myself and gave him the idea I wanted to have. I still wanted to have like a Neptune god on the front, but with a Viking style, so to say. So we had another idea from the beginning with a sinking ship, a battleship on the sea floor, but that didn't went out good in the end because it looked more like it wasn't good. So we decided to go for this Viking sitting there in the sea. And then I played around with the Photoshop and the back. I don't know if you've seen the back. You have probably seen the pictures on us when we are kind of looking like Avatar Vikings something. And that took some time to do. It's a lot of different pictures I was playing with, a lot of Photoshop work and some AI as well that helping us. But it's, I mean, just that picture on the back is probably a mix on 10, 15 pictures that are working together to get that look and feel that we wanted to have. So
what's the next step for the band? What can fans look for next from you?
Next step, we really want to go out and play more, of course. We're trying to find the right type of booking company that can help us to reach out, especially preferably, first of all, out in Europe, because we have still only played in Sweden. I mean, this is a band that was around in the 80s. We played just in Sweden at that time. And then we started just before the pandemic and never got time to play outside. And now we wanted to release this album before we go any further. And that's the plan. We really want to go to some bigger festivals probably next summer. That's what we're aiming for.
And I wanted to ask you, can you take me back in time? Can you tell me how this band became a reality?
That was before my time, but I was kind of there around that time. The band started early in the 80s with old friends at that time. They were young, of course. The bass player who now are the vocalist in the band, he was like 12, 13 years old only. And they were playing around and I think they saw some other, I mean, that was when the Viking style started came in with bands like Heavy Load. I don't know actually when Manowar came in, but Heavy Load in Sweden was kind of a big band at that time. So the guys had that like an inspiration and want to do something in that style, not music wise really, but we had to have the Vikings because that's our heritage.
Sure.
And they got a deal with a record company that never went through, and then they swapped some people in the band, and I came in 1985, and then we got another deal that also never came through. But that record company at least paid for recording of 5 songs, which later on was released 2018. So it took some time to release them. But for some reason, some people got hold of these recordings early 2000. We wasn't aware. So there was some guy released like a vinyl with 500x only with Swedish metal bands from the 80s, and we were one of them. Because of that, people around the world finally found out, and so it took couple of more years, and we have seen on the internet, on YouTube, that there are some demo tapes around in the world, but we have no clue where they come from and exactly what's on them.
Wow.
But yeah, but we know we know the song names, of course, but we don't really know if there were any real tapes around, because we were really bad to do this tape trading thing. That's why we released this tape box recently. But then a company from Greece contacted us and asked, can't we do anything? And of course we said yes. And so we released this first album called Land of Northern with a lot of old recordings that we found only on cassette, of course, because we didn't have them on real master tapes.
Mhm. And I wanted to ask you, can you tell me about your musical background? At what age did you begin? And what steps did you take to hone your craft?
I was probably around 12, 13 years old, something, I guess. I mean, my earliest influences was band like Sweet and Kiss. Um, and of course, then not far after that, then we could see bands like Van Halen, and you really got inspiration from this kind of band very often from US, of course. But I have a lot of influences from Scandinavian band as well. I mean, I don't know if I heard about TNT from Norway, for example, Pretty Maids from Denmark, Sonata Arctica from Finland. So we have a lot of this, and I like this melodic thing that these bands has, so that's something I always have with me. This melodic style that comes from the Swedish bands, or the Scandinavian or Nordic bands, so to say.
Yes, I've always been a huge fan of TNT.
Yeah.
It's the guitar work on their material is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely, he's really, really good. And I also liked he could also do this kind of weird scales from time to time that not sounds like anything else. You can hear that he has an idea that I not just a lot of tones in it should be something that are different and sticking out and when you listen to it. So I really like that.
And along your musical journey, what do you feel has been the best advice that's been given to you along the way?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, now when we have got the opportunity to do this thing we do now, I mean, we have released 2 albums in the last 4 years. Back in the 80s, I wouldn't say that we were lazy, but we didn't really have the right tool. Today we have totally different tools to do something with our work, of course, but the competition is also so much bigger. But I think to never give up is a really important thing, of course, and get so many guys in the band to be involved as possible, because as the last album, we have all been involved writing the music, which is something some people hear and some people, I would say, some people like it and some people doesn't like it. To be honest, some people want to have the same sound ID, not ID, but the song type all the way. I mean, same tempo and so on. And I prefer to have something that actually could be diverse and sounds differently. So it's easier to listen to a whole album from start to end. I don't know if I answered your question, but
And I wanted to ask you, you said you're at where you work. How did this become a job for you? And what did you do? What was your training in the studio work?
it's not really a studio work. I have always been in the music industry in some way. So I'm working on selling gear to other musicians and artists and venues and so on. So that's my demo gear I have in the back that I'm selling to other musicians and artists. So, and that's how I done my whole life. If it's not a recording equipment, it's microphones or headphones or speakers and something that are really close to what I'm doing every day. So most of the time I'm actually not in this office. I'm out with customers and rental companies and helping them out with wireless microphones and that type of gear.
And when you're not working and you're not creating, do you have any hobbies that lie beyond music that you enjoy?
As I probably mentioned earlier, photography is something I really like. It actually, yeah, that's one thing. Photography is not so much lately because I haven't got time. But to be honest, I also really like to be in front of a band on a live concert and take photos on them, because it ties together some way. And some people that just take photos, I mean, as a musician, I would say it's easier because you have the rhythm in your blood and you know you feel what the people on the stage probably are going to do. So you take the photo in the right timing for when they're doing something. And that's something, not just hit the button, you need to take the right angles and the right tempo, because you just take one picture and you need to get that picture exactly when the singer is doing something or the guitarist is doing something. So it's easy. I would say it's easier to be a musician to take photos on a live concert.
And I wanted to ask you as well, what's the best way to get a physical copy of the album or any merchandise that you do have?
The CD is released via Pride and Joy, so we have a few CDs that we are selling on concerts, but mainly it's Pride and Joy and their network. The vinyl is only today via our own webpage.
Okay.
We haven't printed so many. It's just a limited edition of it. So we have a few blue and some more black ones, of course, but I think it's like 300 something in all.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, if you could give a message to your fans, what would that message be?
I don't know how it's in US, but lately here over here in Europe, especially up in Nordic, after the pandemic, people doesn't really go out on concerts anymore. We have issues where they need to cancel festivals and stuff because they don't sell enough tickets in time. And I understand. I wait too long to buy my tickets, and that's not good because it's so hard for the promoters or the booking agencies to plan a festival. If they
Sure.
need to fly over a band from US, they need to buy tickets and book the hotels. And if people waiting 1 week before the concerts, they are cancelled. So we need to we need to find a new way to get people back to the venues and back to the gigs again, so we can get this working once again.
US, the problem was kind of the other way around. Everyone was dying to get to shows,
Yeah.
but a lot of local venues had shut down because they had lost so much income that they could no longer pay the bills there, and they had to move out. Now we're getting to a point where these places are getting bought up again and things are thriving again. But for a while, it was really bad right after COVID. Everyone was dying to go to the show, but you couldn't get to one because most of the venues were down.
Yeah, same thing actually happened here as well. And I'm so happy that it's actually a new kind of newly opened venue just in Stockholm where we live. And the guy that opened it, he's a guy in our age, and he really understood how the big the venue should be and what a band wants on a venue. And it's really, really good. There are even a special place in the venue for selling merch and everything. So it's not just a table. It's actually a proper place where you can have the vinyl CDs and T-shirts and stuff. A proper bar, of course, it's really important. And the backstage for the bands was big enough, at least 2 bands with a shower, and everything was so. He thought about everything except for one thing. And I told him there were no watch. I couldn't see the timing. I didn't know where we should go on stage because when we are waiting, we don't have any watches or phones or anything on us. So I said, okay. I told him it should be great to have a watch in the backstage. We know when to go on stage. But that was a small thing. Otherwise, the venue was so good and perfect. So yeah, I can see the light in the tunnel. It's better and better. But once again, we also need to get younger people to come to the concerts. I mean, people that was 20 when the pandemic came, they maybe never was on a concert. Now they are like 25, 26 and have maybe never seen or experienced a proper concert. And I think we need to get these people out there as well. Maybe we should have a cheaper price for the young people so we can start to rebuild it again from ground up.
Sure. Well, I wanted to thank you, my friend, for taking time to speak with me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
I hope you have a great rest of your day, and please feel free to update me at any time when any new news comes about.
Absolutely. I will do that. Great.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Thank you, Martin, and same to you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.